You almost have to feel sorry for him. He did his best to cancel me. Instead, he forced millions of people to watch the show. That backfired bigly. He might have to release the Epstein files to distract us from this now. The President of the United States made it very clear he wants to see me and the hundreds of people who work here fired from our jobs. Our leader celebrates Americans losing their livelihoods because he can't take a joke. He was somehow able to squeeze Colbert out of CBS. Then he turned his sights on me, and now he's openly rooting for NBC to fire Jimmy Fallon and Seth Meyers and the hundreds of Americans who work for their shows who don't make millions of dollars. And I hope that if that happens, or if there's even any hint of that happening, you will be 10 times as loud as you were this week. We have to speak out against this.
You want to know what Disney's response was to the boycott that cost them like $1 billion? Their response is that in October, they're going to raise their subscription prices like $2, $3. They were like, yes, have Jimmy Kimmel back on air, but we're going to go ahead and charge you because we lost money because you pesky little customers took it away from us. And I just look at that, I'm like, well, yeah, it's the only way that we can communicate to you that we're not going to stand this. We're going to say bad company and we're going to smack you on the wrist. And you're just going to have to take it because people are mad. People are upset. And if you play games like this, it's going to turn this boycott from a temporary thing to a permanent thing. That's what's going to happen. It's going to be indefinite. With me, when it comes to the way that these companies are capitulating to the insane whims of this administration, if you align with that, I'm done. I'm good. I'm canceling it. I'm done. At this point, I'll go back to physical media. I'll go back to the DVD exchange stores that I used to go to all the time. I'll go back to libraries, whatever I need to do. Sure will save me some money every month because I'll just buy a series every now and again. I will sacrifice new seasons of shows that I love in order to prove a point because this is a really important time in history. And while all of you are running around, I don't know, frolicking through your money, the rest of us here are worried. And we don't want our stuff to become more controlled. We don't want more surveillance. We don't want more eyes on us trying to figure out how to market to us. Like, back off. It's the same way that I feel about Meta building their giant data centers. You're building something the size of Manhattan that's going to take 3 times the amount of electricity as New Orleans uses in a year. That's what you're going to do. And I can't imagine that data collecting is going to be used for any good purposes. It's probably nefarious because you've been caught doing things like that before. And for what end? To market to us more effectively? How are you going to use all that information and money that you're spending on this center to market to people with no money? Do you see what I'm saying?
I was saying to myself, what the fuck is he going to say? I thought he hit the right tone. I thought it was beautiful.
My boyhood idols, Howard Stern and David Letterman, were very considerate. I feel honored to be part of a group of people that knows what goes into doing a show like this. This show is not important. What is important is that we get to live in a country that allows us to have a show like this.
Right. Imagine the pressure. I mean, he had to come out and be the face of free speech. Plus, he's representing Disney. And plus, he's supposed to be fucking funny.
Yeah.
That's an impossible task. It is not easy.
Look, I never imagined I would be in a situation like this. I barely paid attention in school. But one thing I did learn from Lenny Bruce and George Carlin and Howard Stern is that a government threat to silence a comedian the president doesn't like is anti-American. That's anti-American.
Well done, Jimmy. You did a great job. Very, very good.
It was brilliant.
You know what I love about 2025? Watching people discover consequences in real time. So here's what happened. Disney suspended Jimmy Kimmel from ABC after he made some jokes that got certain people's panties in a twist. They thought they could just quietly sweep this under the rug and wait for it to blow over. Wrong move. Dead wrong. Because here's what happened next. Millions of people said nah and started hitting that cancel button on their subscriptions. Disney Plus, Hulu, cruise bookings, theme park trips, gone. Just like that. Disney's stock price started diving faster than a roller coaster at Six Flags, and suddenly they remembered they're not in the business of political theater, they're in the business of making money. So guess what? Jimmy Kimmel is officially back at ABC, crisis averted, profits protected. But here's the beautiful irony. The same folks who spent 4 years screaming about snowflakes and safe spaces just tried to get a comedian fired for making jokes. The lack of self-awareness is genuinely impressive. Welcome to Mind Mirror, where we watch corporate panic attacks and political meltdowns in high definition.
So Disney reversed their decision and they are bringing back Jimmy Kimmel because why? What was the reason? Because of the boycotts. Boycotts work. That is the reason why they brought him back. They don't give a fuck about the First Amendment. I say it all the time. Corporations, tech billionaires, they have no loyalty to this country. All they care about is money, so you have to speak their language. You should care about the First Amendment, though, because without it, you don't have any other rights. And I know a lot of you didn't start paying attention to this until a white famous guy got taken off, but they've been assaulting our First Amendment. That's what those college campus crackdowns were for. That's the reason why they're making sure TikTok is being taken over by right-wing Zionist billionaires. We need to ensure that Beijing can't control what we see, but Tel Aviv can. So good job, everybody. It worked. But you should keep boycotting Disney because they are on the BDS list. There is still an active genocide happening right now with your money in Gaza. And speaking of the BDS list, if you're an American, you should be asking your lawmakers why they were just in Israel being told by their lawmakers to ban our speech in our states. That's right, folks. Your lawmakers just went to Israel so they could get told to ban BDS across the U.S. So I'm gonna need you to wake up and care about that too. That is also a violation of the First Amendment. I made this video a couple days ago when he was still off the air, and it's so relevant, so I'm gonna attach it here. Okay, so the energy that you brought to Disney, we're seeing fucking mass cancellations of Disney Plus, people's fucking Disney cruises. This is the energy, folks, okay? Now, I really wish that you would have done all this canceling of Disney as we've been asking you to for 2 years because they are on the BDS list and there's a genocide happening in Gaza. But you know what? Glad you're here. This is also a good reason to do it because there is an assault on free speech and our First Amendment in this country. And if we don't have that, we have nothing. Like, for those of you short-sighted folks that keep being like, oh, it wasn't that big of a deal. It's not that deep. They have a right. The government, the FCC chick, threatened them. That is quite literally a violation of the First Amendment. What about when Roseanne got canceled? That wasn't the government. I also need some of you to do a system update on your mental computer because this isn't the Reagan administration, okay? The degree to which the government has been captured and infiltrated by the elite class, billionaires and the corporations is oligarchy. That's what we're living with. Some of you need to understand that your rights don't get taken away all at once. They are precedents that get set. Censorship is already out of control in this country, and this was just the latest escalation. It is a reminder of the power of organizing and what can actually be accomplished if people actually come together to do so. And boycotts are one of the most effective ways to hold people and companies accountable because all they care about is money. Like, I need you guys to remember that. We live in a capitalist, late-stage empire hellscape that is crumbling before our eyes. The only thing, let me repeat, the only thing that any of these people in power care about is money. Boycott them for firing Jimmy Kimmel, great, but also you should be boycotting them anyway because they're complicit in the Palestinian genocide. Free Palestine, fuck Disney.
So it's a week and Kimmel is back already, but people really think that boycotting is ineffective or it doesn't matter what just one person does. Friends, don't go back to Disney Plus. You did it for Jimmy Kimmel. You can do it for the 680,000 people that have been murdered in Palestine by Israel. Let me tell you what Robert Iger said sometime in October 2023. We condemn these attacks, the hate that motivated them, and all acts of terrorism, and we will continue working to find more ways to provide support in the region and to honor the victims, their families, and all those affected by this war. Walt Disney, through their chief executive officer, Bob Iger, donated $2 million October 2023 to Israel. They have not donated a single penny to Palestine. And obviously, as we know, Disney works with tons of Zionists. So keep boycotting Disney and tell them you're doing so because they support Israel and not Palestine, who are being terrorized by Israel with our tax dollars. Boycott matters. Check out the BDS, Boycott, Divest, Sanction movement, and use your dollars to vote to send a message.
Disney and ABC just caved for the second time in 5 days. This time, under heavy boycott pressure, they decided to put Kimmel back on the air. Let's talk about why this really matters and what it can teach us moving forward. Corporations are going to keep caving to the Trump administration as long as they think that it's the path of least resistance. When Brendan Carr, the chair of the FCC, went on a far-right podcast and told Disney, we can do this the easy way or the hard way, and threatened to pull their broadcast license over some comments that Kimmel made, Disney decided that it was easier to give up on the First Amendment and cave to the Trump administration than it would be to fight. But then so many of us started canceling our Disney Plus and Hulu subscriptions that we crashed their website multiple times. They were hemorrhaging customers, and they were pissing off millions of Americans who saw rightly that this was a true First Amendment issue, that Disney had caved to censorship from the Trump administration. Disney put Kimmel back on the air because they realized that it was more costly to cave to Trump than it was to stand up to him. They learned it a little too late, though, because the damage is done for Disney. But other corporations are going to see this. Other institutions are going to see this. And what we need every time someone caves to Trump is significant public pushback, however we can get it. Fascism works when institutions fold. When institutions stand up and fight, fascism cannot take root. But the only thing that's going to keep institutions from folding to fascism is pressure from us, the consumers, the students who attend universities, the alumni of universities, the clients of law firms. Wherever you have a little tiny bit of power, stand up and fucking use it. Fascists are scared of us. They're scared of a fucking late night comedian, for Christ's sake. Let's keep pushing, keep up the pressure, and make sure that institutions stop folding to a president whose numbers are way underwater, who is deeply unpopular with the American public right now, and who is fucking so weak that he wants to cancel late night comedians. Kudos to the folks who put this boycott together. Kudos to everyone who participated. Let's keep moving forward.
So after Disney lost about $5 billion in market share for kicking Jimmy Kimmel off air, Disney decided that it would be a great idea to raise prices to make up for that loss. Now, I'm not a billion-dollar CEO, but I don't think the way to make amends on a boycott is to increase your prices. But that's exactly what Disney is doing. Disney Plus with ads is going from $9.99 per month to $11.99 per month. Disney Plus Premium is increasing by $3, from $15.99 per month to $18.99 per month. And their ESPN Select is increasing by $1, from $11.99 per month to $12.99 per month. In my opinion, I don't think this is the smartest move to do after you are facing such a backlash for attacking freedom of speech in the United States of America, and you lost hundreds of thousands of customers, and then you caved. And now to enact what, some kind of retribution, you're going to increase prices and that's going to bring your consumer base back? I don't see the logic in that, but hey, who knows? Could be wrong here. Maybe people will see more value in the company because it costs a little more now per month. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, follow for more. This is Grim with Get the Rant, and I'll see you all in the next video.
So it looks like they decided to reinstate Jimmy Kimmel, y'all, and I'm just going to say what everybody's thinking. It's still too late for Disney and Hulu. I am not about to get that subscription.
Y'all, Jimmy Kimmel said, find somebody else to play with, because I'm not the one. My boy went and got his job back. Like, who are you playing with? I will sue your fucking pants off. Find somebody else to play with, because I'm not the one. Jimmy Kimmel, you did that. Because who does that company think you are? They took you for a lightweight. You showed them, didn't you? You got freedom of speech. You can say whatever you want. Just be careful next time, because if they fire you the next time, you might be. But I love that for you, Jimmy. Welcome back. You weren't even gone long enough for us to miss you. And what you did was stand on business. And for that you are the man, Jimmy. Find somebody else to play with, because Jimmy Kimmel is not to be played with. Do you hear me? Welcome back, Jimmy.
So Disney chickened out. Shocker. Look, I get being excited that Jimmy's back, but let's be real here. This whole thing was a masterclass in corporate panic management. Disney saw their subscriber numbers drop and suddenly remembered they have shareholders to answer to. And honestly, good for Jimmy for standing his ground. But here's the thing. This shouldn't have been a fight in the first place. When did making jokes on late-night TV become grounds for suspension? The same people who spent 4 years telling everyone to get over it and stop being snowflakes suddenly can't handle a comedian doing comedy. It's almost like they only believe in free speech when it's speech they agree with.
So Jimmy Kimmel got his show back. He'll be on TV tomorrow night, okay? Now, the thing is, I'm not backing out of this Disney Hulu boycott because I don't know what Disney got up their sleeve. They did make this statement, though. They said last Wednesday they decided to suspend the show to avoid further inflaming a tense situation at an emotional time for the country. I'm sorry, but there are a lot of people that didn't care. And them and Jimmy sat down and had a conversation. Now, I'm going to say this, Disney. If Jimmy has to apologize or donate money, baby, the boycott will still go on. And at this point, fuck it. You don't need Hulu or Disney. You want to know why? That shit's way too fucking expensive. But Fox News is pissed off.
Now, this is interesting. So Disney's playing both sides. They bring Jimmy back, but they're also trying to smooth things over with the people who wanted him gone. Classic corporate move. Apologize to everyone. Stand for nothing. But here's what's smart about keeping that boycott pressure on. It sends a message that you can't just flip-flop without consequences. Disney made their bed when they suspended him in the first place. And let's talk about those subscription prices. $15.99 for Disney Plus, $17.99 for Hulu without ads. You're basically paying $35 a month to watch Mickey Mouse and reality TV. Maybe this whole boycott thing is just good financial sense. The real question is, did Disney learn anything? Or are they just waiting for this to blow over?
And you know Frumpy is pissed off. And oh fucking well, he didn't even really say anything to offend CK. He was offending Frumpy. Frumpy was the one that sat on the White House lawn, and when he was asked how he was dealing with CK's unaliving, he said, I'm doing great. But do you see that big, beautiful ballroom that's being built and the construction? Yeah, that is great. I ain't never seen such a sensitive president, like for real. Hey, but what do I know? Y'all don't listen to black women anyways.
Ouch. That last line hits different, doesn't it? And she's got a point about the selective outrage. The same administration that gave us alternative facts and called the press the enemy of the people is now clutching pearls over late-night comedy. Here's the math. Trump spent 4 years attacking journalists, calling them fake news, encouraging crowds to boo the press. But Jimmy makes one joke and suddenly it's a national crisis requiring corporate intervention. It's like watching someone punch you in the face, then file assault charges when you flinch. The hypocrisy is so thick you could cut it with a butter knife.
Okay, it's official. Jimmy Kimmel is being reinstated by Disney. And MAGA conservatives and MAGA supporters, those who are still distraught over the assassination of Charlie Kirk, are having an entire fit. Okay? So, word on the street is that Jimmy Kimmel is going to speak about his reinstatement to Disney or by Disney. And I'm here to hear it. I'm here to see it. Okay? Because I want to know what machine, besides the machine we already know runs everything in the world, caused him to be reinstated. Okay? More to come. Jimmy Kimmel has been reinstated to Jimmy Kimmel Live by Disney. Wow.
What machine runs everything in the world? Now that's the right question to ask. Because here's what actually happened. Disney's board saw their market cap drop by billions, got calls from major investors, and suddenly remembered that comedy shows make money. It's not some shadowy conspiracy. It's just capitalism working exactly as designed. Money talks, everything else walks. But the fact that it took financial pressure to restore a comedian's show, that tells you everything about corporate priorities. They don't care about free speech or artistic integrity. They care about quarterly earnings. And honestly, at least money is predictable. Better than decisions based on Twitter mob sentiment.
I'm a little confused here. This same Republican Party that was so anti-cancel culture, so anti-Me Too movement, so anti all of those different things, is now the party that wants to strip us of our First Amendment rights if we say anything disparaging against Charlie Kirk. Help me understand that one. They're now canceling Jimmy Kimmel's show for allegedly making disparaging remarks against Charlie Kirk. I watched the video, and folks, I am perplexed. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, The sitting president of the United States, before they even knew who the shooter was already coming out inciting violence by saying that it was a radical leftist. Now that information has come out, that's not even the case. And all Jimmy Kimmel was doing was disabusing Donald Trump of his own notion. And y'all cancel his show?
Exactly. Thank you. The party of anti-cancel culture just canceled someone. The party that screams about free speech just tried to silence a comedian. The party that hates woke corporations just pressured a corporation to fire someone. It's like watching a vegan order a cheeseburger while lecturing you about animal rights. And let's be clear about what Jimmy actually said. He was responding to inflammatory rhetoric from politicians, not attacking private citizens. That used to be called political commentary. Now it's apparently grounds for career destruction. The cognitive dissonance is real, folks.
And it doesn't help the fact that the head of the Department of Justice, Pam Bondi, just recently came out and said that they will use the full weight of the DOJ to go after those that speak ill of Charlie Kirk. She had to come back and clean it up because she realized how that sounded. But folks, the truth is already out there. Our First Amendment rights are fundamentally under full-blown assault by this administration, and this is complete madness.
Hold up. The DOJ is getting involved in late-night comedy now? This is where things get actually scary. When government departments start threatening comedians over jokes, we're not in cancel culture territory anymore. We're in authoritarian territory. And the irony? The same people who spent years screaming about government overreach are now cheering when the DOJ threatens to prosecute comedians. It's like they never actually cared about limited government. They just wanted government power pointed in their direction. This is exactly how free speech dies. Not with dramatic censorship laws, but with bureaucrats making examples of people who step out of line.
This is just wild to me. So, Jimmy Kimmel Live will be back tomorrow, Tuesday. I guess they saw the reaction the public had and they decided, we effed up, let's bring back the show. Now, I'm actually a little shocked that Jimmy agreed to come back. Apparently, on Tuesday, he's going to talk about the situation that unfolded on his show. But do we think he got some sort of renegotiation with his pay? Because there's no way you cancel my show and all of that drama is going to ensue. And then you bring me back and I'm not coming back for double, triple the amount that I made. I mean, Netflix was probably calling him saying, come do your show on Netflix. So this is a little insane to me that Disney made a quick turnaround. They got scared real quick. I really would love to see the numbers. I know that someone said Disney had lost like $3 billion or something like that over the course of the last couple of days, but I would really like to see the numbers. And again, to my earlier point, I did another post about Disney. I don't think that people are going to turn back on Disney Plus because Jimmy Kimmel is back on TV. Like, I think whoever canceled their cruises, their trips, their Disney Plus, those are staying canceled. Like, you missed it. This is crazy, though. I can't believe the show is coming back. Wow, look at that. People have power.
This is what actual market forces look like in action. Disney learned that lesson every corporation eventually learns. Your customer base is your real boss. Not Twitter mobs, not political pressure groups, paying customers. And Jimmy definitely got a pay bump out of this. You don't get your show canceled. Create a public relations nightmare for your employer, and then come back at the same salary. That's not how leverage works. But here's the thing. This victory is temporary if the underlying problem isn't fixed. What happens next time? Will Disney fold again at the first sign of pressure? The real power move would be having principles and sticking to them, instead of this corporate ping-pong game.
I don't understand what you don't get, DJ the Juggalo. I don't understand. I don't give a fuck that he painted his face black. Did you not listen to the video? Do you not understand what is really going on? Do you not see the bigger picture? This is about our First Amendment right of freedom of speech. I don't give a damn about Jimmy Kimmel. Like I said in my video prior to this, he is a byproduct of this foolery, but had it not been him, it would have been somebody else. This is bigger than him. Please stop. Please stop putting the comments on my post, because you're making yourself look even more ignorant. Your ignorance. I don't give a damn what Jimmy Kimmel did if he wore blackface and he apologized for it. I don't care. I don't even watch Jimmy Kimmel, so I could give two shits about Jimmy Kimmel. This is about my freedom of speech, your freedom of speech, our children's freedom of speech. This is what this is about. Do you not understand how this can snowball into other things? Clearly you don't. Get off the internet and go educate yourself. Please, I implore you to please get off of this internet, get off of this social media app and go educate yourself, because you look foolish. This is not about Jimmy Kimmel. Get that through your head. Get it through it. Please, stop it. Stop it, please.
See, this woman gets it. This isn't about Jimmy Kimmel. It's about precedent. Today it's a late night host. Tomorrow it's a news anchor. Next week it's anyone who makes a joke the wrong people don't like. And focusing on blackface from 20 years ago misses the entire point. It's like arguing about the color of the deck chairs while the ship is sinking. The real issue is, do we live in a country where comedians can make jokes about public figures, or don't we? Because if the answer is only jokes we approve of, then we don't have free speech. We have approved speech. And approved speech isn't speech worth protecting.
So you want to know why I will never give a fuck about the whole, like, oh, Jimmy Kimmel wore blackface in the year 2004? Not really interested in justice, you're interested in gotchas. Is because the people who make those comments and drudge up that same sort of like imagery to, I guess, invoke anger and sentient people who can't cognitively think for themselves in an independent way, is because you guys are more racist than Jimmy Kimmel's most racist sketch or racist dream. You are. And you're trying to use this as a form of like meritocracy, in the sense of like making yourselves feel better about yourselves because you know you are more racist and you hate that racism is such a vile part of your most inner sacred being. And the fact that black people don't give a damn and white liberals really give a damn is what's like eating you up. You will never hear this from me on every single one of my enslaved ancestors. You will never get an intelligent, cognizant Black American descendant of chattel slavery to promote or believe with a whole heart this racist rhetoric that you all are rhetoricians for, unless they are a token. And speaking of tokens, you're already turning on your most token of the token as we speak. Turn that token 10. Turn that token 10 times over and think. And one thing that I will always respect about Jimmy Kimmel is the fact that he had on Black musicians, artists, celebrities, actors, and actresses. And as a Black person, I can always tell when like the genuine happiness in another white person's eyes is like real and authentic, and when it's fake or manufactured, like so many other people that are on the news. And he consistently on, you know, the darkest of days for this country provided humor and a sense of like, yeah, things are really effed up, but let's laugh about it. But I'm also going to give you like a rude awakening, and he stayed clapping back on your asses. He stayed clapping back. He did not take any of the bull crap that many people who have like flooded my comment section for whatever reason are trying to perpetuate and promote. And what I'm even more mad about, aside from the fact that we have people like that look like me all of a sudden becoming besties with trees, always centers his humor around standing up for the underdog and promoting people who have oftentimes been penalized because of their adversity or just sort of like punched down on. And Black Americans, because we are truly the definition of the American underdog since 1619, we spot it quickly, we resonate with it, and we can very quickly tell when it's authentic and when it's not. And he also apologizes for his missteps, something that many people who have oftentimes been the spokesperson for your side do not. Matter of fact, that is a part of your ethos. That is a part of your strong man mentality, is not apologizing for your mess ups or your screw ups. I think that's why you like Charlie so much.
Damn. He just delivered a masterclass in reading people. Here's what he's really saying. The people bringing up old comedy bits aren't actually offended. They're weaponizing offense to win political points. Real racism is voting for policies that harm minority communities, not comedy sketches from 2 decades ago. But it's easier to point at TV shows than examine your own voting record. And that line about authentic versus manufactured happiness, that's the difference between someone who actually interacts with diverse communities and someone who just performs tolerance when cameras are rolling. Jimmy's consistent record of supporting marginalized communities speaks louder than any old sketch. Actions over entertainment, always.
Now, backlash was swift when ABC decided to pull his show off of the air. And I think that it's important to note that ABC is owned by the Disney company, and a lot of people decided to cancel their Disney subscriptions, their Hulu subscriptions. Some people were even going as far as to cancel cruises as well as trips to Disneyland and Disney parks. And that, when people's bottom line is affected, that sent shockwaves up to the higher ups at Disney, and they heard the cry of the people. And as you can see, we are bringing back the Jimmy Kimmel Show. But this leads me to a greater question, because I know that it wasn't so much Disney or ABC that had a problem with what Kimmel said regarding the unaliving of CK. It was more so the affiliate stations that broadcast the Jimmy Kimmel Show, and that would be St. Clair Network as well as Nexstar, okay? They were not happy with what Kimmel said, and they threatened not to broadcast his show on their stations. Now, St. Clair went as far as to request that Kimmel issue a public apology to CK's family, as well as make a sizable donation to his foundation, okay, which would be Turning Point USA. And the question that I have is, I hope that there was no, and maybe this is the skeptic in me, but I hope that there's no backdoor dealings going on where those requests were met, and that is the reason why Kimmel was being brought back on. I don't know. Or maybe it was just simply the public outcry got too great for Disney as well as ABC executives, and they decided to bring him back. Now, my concern is, are we going to get a watered down version of the Jimmy Kimmel Show? That is my concern. Will the organic, regular Jimmy Kimmel Show and night broadcasts like Kimmel still be allowed to do the comedy that they have been doing since their inception and talk about all things that they want to talk about without fear of consequences of their show being pulled or them being fired? Will we receive a watered down version of the show? So get down in the comments and let me know what you think about that. Do you think that we will get the same Jimmy Kimmel Show that we got before, or do you think things will be different now that he sees what could happen if he steps out of line? Let me know your thoughts on that. Also, if you are not following the Black Death Society, what are you waiting for? And if you found value from this post, please make sure to like as well as share. And just because we don't know what's going on with this platform, with the changes in the next couple of days, please follow me on the Book of the Face. It is still under Black Death Society.
Great question. Are we getting Diet Kimmel now? Because this is how censorship actually works in America. No government bans, no dramatic arrests, just quiet pressure that makes people self-censor. If Jimmy comes back walking on eggshells, afraid to make the jokes that made his show worth watching, then the people who wanted him canceled actually won. And those affiliate stations demanding apologies and donations? That's extortion dressed up as corporate responsibility. Here's the test. Will Jimmy's next monologue be as sharp as before, or will it sound like it went through a legal review committee? That'll tell us everything we need to know about whether this was really a victory for free speech.
Thinking like this is what got Nancy and Mitch to play up in our face for so long with very little consequences. It's called compounding your numbers. You don't think that Disney has consistently voted against the best interests of locals around the area, and locals need the numbers of others to help go against Disney? Jimmy, Sarah Silverman, all those very unfunny people that get, large amounts of checks for just saying stuff. Been clocked.